Yo, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. I've literally just got in from Edinburgh, so apologies if I'm late by 6 minutes. Apologies, but literally just got in right now. So yeah, man, I'm here though. We're ready. Late stream. We got man like James in the building. James, we should be on the same path today. You know, we should be, I reckon, in unison, if that makes sense today.
Have to be, mate. Yeah, there's only one train of thought here, isn't there? I think we're all a little disappointed, and none of us really want to be doing this stream at all, to be honest. The news came out earlier on today, and we're not happy about it. But big up yourself, work ethic unmatched, back from Edinburgh, straight up on the stream. So big up yourself. And if that's not worth a like, God knows what is. So hit that like button on the way in for Saeed.
Yeah, man. Come on, people, man. Hit the like button, man. You know what I'm saying? To late stream. And we got Double A in the building. Double A, what are you saying, man? You good, bro?
Yeah. All good, bro. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the invite. Nice to be in a space with James again for the second time today. Always good. Big up the chat as always. I love to chat on this channel. So I'm expecting... I already see they're already flying in. So yeah, big up everyone. And like James says, you know, this guy is one of the hardest men. Hardest men? I'm doing you now. Oh my God.
He likes it hard. He likes it hard. Did you not hear that?
Yeah.
Pause.
Hardest working. What a nightmare. Hardest working men on YouTube. Listen, Saeed puts that graft in for you all. So, like James said, it's definitely worth a like. So, come on, like the video, please. If not for me, just absolutely pieing myself off there. Nice.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. We got a couple of super chats here. Please tell me this is not true, please, bro. Listen, man, I hope it's not true. Obviously, we're reacting to reports. You know what I mean? Nothing's ever concrete. We are aggregators at the end of the day. We react to the news. But the news came in straight after the win today, and we'll talk about that later on. But it came from Mike Keegan, who's been leading the kind of almost Glazer or sale process throughout the whole sale initiative. There was some news today basically coming out that the Glazer family will still be in control when the Premier League starts. And it came here and said, you know, there are now concerns among those involved in Man United's sale over whether the Glazers will sell. Some believe the process may well be paused. The prospect of this lingering until autumn or even winter has been discussed in both camps. First of all, James, how did you react to the news? Is it because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've kind of had this feeling that it's not going to happen in the summer, like in terms of the summer. Not as in like my whole hopes have been diminished. Just the fact that I don't think it'll happen in the summer because they've been active in the transfer market. They've been trying to sort out Ten Hag in that kind of aspect. But how do you kind of view it, man, James, to the report?
Yeah, it's devastating, isn't it? But you semi-expected it, and I think if you realise, I think Whitwell came out the other day and basically said that, you know, no one had heard anything for 6 weeks, and there's never really any smoke without fire. And as soon as he mentioned that Alfani and Jim Ratcliffe, also Jim, hadn't heard anything in that length of time, you've got like the cogs start turning in your head, and you think something's not right here. And like you said, Mike Keegan's been leading the way on the whole sale process. And I don't know if you actually read the whole article, but when you click on it, at the very top of the article, it basically says the Glazers will definitely be in charge for the start of the season. They will definitely be owners, and definitely is a strong word. It means 100%. And basically his reasoning for that is the fact that even if a bid was to be accepted in the next couple of days, by the time all the processes and stuff are checked by the Premier League, that will kind of take us into the month of August anyway, and into that first home game versus Wolves. So it doesn't even matter if a bid comes in tomorrow. They're going to be here as owners of Manchester United legally come the Wolves game. And to be honest, mate, I've had wars on Twitter all day because people are, you know, they're full of this hashtag empty Old Trafford nonsense and all this kind of stuff. And I've given my thoughts on that several times, so I don't want to go over it. But we've tried our very best to get rid of the Glazers. You may not think we have as local fans in Manchester. Trust me, we have. Me and Double A have been on several protests. We've seen each other at countless ones. And whenever we can, we go there and we do our bit. And yeah, we want them out as much as anyone, believe me. And we will do everything we can come, August, whenever we play Wolves, to try and get that message across. And yeah, it's been a tough day, mate, reading that, to be fair.
Yeah, it says here as well, we are now beyond a timeline that would allow for new owners to be in place. Double A, what you say, man? I know there's a lot of people laughing and that and giggling in the chat. It's fair enough, you know what I mean? We got a bit excited, you know what I mean? But for now, it might not be happening anytime soon, man. But how's your kind of overall feelings, Double A, when you hear the news from Mike Keegan today? And like I said, we're gonna stress it, people. It's not like set in stone and whatnot, but these are the kind of reports that are coming out from Mike Keegan, who's been leading the kind of almost the process throughout the whole situation. So he's been kind of on point for large parts. But yeah, what are you saying, Double A?
Yeah, I mean, as with transfers and as you would expect under the Glazers, it's obviously been drawn out. And sometimes just a nasty affair. You see people who want either side going at each other and bad stuff coming out against Qatar more than you would say Sir Jim, but obviously that's led by the British media wanting a British person and not oil money or state wealth, because people don't want Manchester United to own or to be owned by wealth, because that means the rest of the Premier League is done for in terms of that, because we're the one club you possibly don't need to have a rich owner. We just need an owner that treats the club properly and cares for the club and wants the club to compete and to be the best version of itself. And we don't currently have that with these owners. I've since about March, April, I've just had to withdraw from it all, because you get bogged down by it, and it wasn't, you're bumbling along and then stuff happens with the season. We're doing well. I'd rather focus on the football, and that's what I kind of tried to do. And coming on here, you have to talk about it. Coming on other streams, you have to talk about it. But the only thing I was surprised about today with that news is that I wasn't surprised, and I think that's how it's kind of come or gone along, because you don't hear anything for weeks. If they really wanted to sell, the last bid from Al Thani would have been enough, wouldn't it? They would have accepted it, and that would be the end of it. But then you hear all these tales about, well, 4 of the Glazers want to go, it's the other 2 hanging on, and then the rest of the people that own the rest of the 39%, they're all saying they're going to sue them or it's going to stop it, and it's just a soap opera, and it just becomes another thing for rival fans to beat United fans down with. And we have suffered enough. We've suffered for 18 years under these owners, and James is right. We've done everything we can. If we can't get them out when we're winning, and when people will tell you we only do it when we're losing, or we only do it when we don't buy players, but we were protesting against these owners at one of our most successful periods. David Beckham coming back with AC Milan, grabbing one of the scarves as he left the pitch. We've been here and we've been trying to get these owners out for years and years and years. And one thing is clear, one thing no one should ever forget, and the most important thing that any United fan should remember about the Glazers, is they do not give a shit about you. They don't care one iota about you, about your feelings for this club, for the club in general. They care about one thing and one thing only, and that is milking this club for everything it's worth. And United have been on their knees for 10 years now, like absolutely on their knees. And everything we do good is despite of them, not because of them. And you need to remember that as well. And it's just another sad day for Manchester United fans. And I don't think the only club that can really empathise in the Premier League, I think, is Newcastle fans, because they were exactly there with Mike Ashley. No one can understand how bad it is to have these owners at the club. And you feel like you start to make steps going forward with Ten Hag. You get one of the best up-and-coming managers in world football come in. He pulls up trees. He gets us back to where we think we could start to really push forward and really become a Manchester United that we can be proud of watching again. You know, we was all there at Old Trafford and smiles, talking, laughing. We was buzzing to be back there. And we go back in August. What's it going to be like again? If they're still here and all this has been for show and it's all been a facade, the mood's right back down again. And I don't think Ten Hag can pull that back up again. I really don't.
You know this question. I gotta address this point here. For me, I think it's gone beyond. For me, like money in terms of from the fans. Not going to games. This is the Glazers being stubborn and wanting the most out of the potential owners. We could do it for a little while. I could give up my seat, and someone else will take my seat. By the way, for those that don't know, someone else will take my seat. So that notion goes away. I don't spend any merchandise. I don't spend any kind of income in United, whether it's in the stadium, whether it's outside. I buy my ticket. I've got a season ticket holder. That argument for me, I just don't understand where it comes from, because this is more than just fans' money. This is the Glazers rinsing out Sheikh Jassim and whoever's going to be bidding now. This is on them. So it's come to the point of greed. I don't think it's down to the fans. The fans are protesting, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't know how much more protests you want. You know what I mean? We've tried the empty seats. We've tried everything we can. This has come down beyond fans. This has come down to Glazers' greed at not selling the football club because they want a particular price. And if they don't pay that particular price or whatever that particular price is, then that's what it is. You can take the fans out of the stadium, but they want their money back. And that's ultimately the biggest issue. And you're not going to get to realize, I'm telling you now, people, yeah, I'm being deadly serious here. I give my ticket away. Double A gives his ticket away. You're not going to get 100%. You're not going to get that. So for me, that argument goes out the window. It comes down to, for me, the Glazers being greedy, and that's what it is. You know. So
Saeed, I'll tell you what it is, and I'm probably going to get like smashed in the comments as like top red mentality and he doesn't understand and all this. But generally, people that don't go to the games and aren't there regularly don't understand how big Manchester United Football Club is. They don't see Old Trafford on a non-match day, and they don't see the pull that the club has. And they have no idea that 140,000 people were in the queue to get a ticket for Wolves the other day when there was about 900 released. They don't have a clue. So when they think, oh yeah, just leave your seat, it'll be empty, it's like there's hundreds of thousands of people waiting to take my seat. My money has already been taken for the season. So my £1,000 has already gone. So if I give up my seat, I lose. The Glazers win. They get the money regardless. I don't spend any money in the stadium, so they've already got that money. So this notion doesn't work. If someone wants to pay me £50 for every single game that I'm not going to attend, then they're more than welcome to. They give me my £50 back. The Glazers have still got their money, but if you think it makes a statement, I'll stay at home and I'll watch it. But until that happens, people are very happy living in their ivory tower saying, yeah, do this, and virtue signaling and saying, yeah, that'll get the Glazers out. I promise you it won't. There was a queue of about 1,000 people outside the megastore when we played Valladolid or whoever it was, Vallecano pre-season. A pre-season game when Barcelona were playing Man City in the Champions League. Barcelona fans were on a tour of Old Trafford. You have no idea how big this club is. You go on about it being a worldwide club with a worldwide fan base, which it has, but you don't understand the implications that has on tickets and financials and stuff. Like, people don't understand the situation, and asking people to boycott their hard-earned money that they've earned. It's just ridiculous. And let's face it, like I shift a lot of tickets on. I sell tickets for people. Like, I help people go to games. The very same people that are telling me to hashtag empty Old Trafford are the very same people that are in my inbox saying, I'm flying to Manchester in 2 months' time. Can you sort me out a ticket for the Liverpool game? Exactly the same people. If you were in my situation, you'd be going to every single game. So it's just a complete lack of empathy and a lack of understanding from a worldwide fan base about what we can do. We're at protests on the front line doing everything we can. We do the sponsorship things, we do the email campaigns, we do all that stuff that you guys can do as well. I just don't think people get it. People think it's easy, or we just don't turn up to one game and they go. It doesn't work like that.
No.
For me, it's gone beyond that. If it was easy as that, I hashtag empty Old Trafford, yeah. And I think only 5,000 fans, I think, stood outside the ground. I think, James, you were one of them. Nuruddin was one of them. I think Kaz was one of them. Not everyone will do it. So that isn't going to work, people. I'm telling you now, it isn't going to work. So that notion that people leave their tickets, it's not going to work. But Tom, You know what are you thinking, man? Just to debate first of all, in terms of fans doing their part. Like, I don't know if you want to come from a point of view of financially and just in general how process would work. Would it mean if every fan left their ticket? Would it mean the Glazers would go? Like, let them know. Be honest.
Yeah. Well, big up anyway, as always, to the community, as
Big up,
always.
big up,
And
Tom.
yeah, I don't think I've ever been on with James or a Double A before, so big up, lads, anyway, as
Big up,
always.
Nice to meet you,
And look, you know, as everybody discusses it before, the Glazer family had crippled this football club the day that they never put a penny of their own money in. 18 years ago, you can get away with it. Old Trafford was probably arguably the best stadium in the world at that time. You move on in time, everybody's going to improve around you. And the benchmark's already been set with Tottenham. The commercial deals that they get, the sponsors, the advertisement, that £1 billion debt will go in 5 years easily with the amount of money that they can generate and revenue there. Manchester United didn't even make the balance sheet for, what was it again? The Euros?
Yeah.
We didn't even make the balance sheet. The first time
Not
in
fit for
history that Old
purpose.
Trafford, not fit for purpose, but they used the phrase, oh, there might be a stadium development. Stadium development, let's be honest. At the end of the day, with the Glazer family, it's as simple as this. You can have every single fan give up their season ticket, £1,000. Obviously, season tickets range in valuation. But you're just going to have some, I don't know, 300 people come over from America on a commercial flight. They'll take your ticket there. There's 300 tickets. You can have some people come over from Australia, Asia, India, wherever. They'll come over and they'll take your ticket. We in a heartbeat. And they're prepared to travel air miles to do so just to come to one game. And that's week in, week out. And as James put it very bluntly and very correctly, the pull of Manchester United is a lot bigger than your average Joe of a football club. Manchester United's reach doesn't just go to the UK, it's worldwide. We don't need to necessarily branch out in terms of globally. We are already global enough. But the problem with us is, when the Glazer family come to the point of where they was begging on their hands and knees for a Super League because COVID was crippling them, and maybe if COVID would have stayed on a bit longer, it might have fully crippled them, really. And Man United only recently have turned over a profit as a football club. So we have been failing financially. And when the football fails, the financials are going to fail with it. And then suddenly the club's dying. But the only thing that the Glazer family are clutching on at straws right now is the TV deals for anything, Premier League rights, UEFA, the Champions League money that they can get, the new rules to the UEFA Champions League for the following season, where you can finish fifth and still make Champions League qualification. That's their golden ticket. Really, that's their mini Super League. It gives them the extra revenue and the extra financing year after year if they wish to stay. Does it mean that it's going to pay for a stadium? Absolutely not. But does it mean that they can still stay and the stadium will stay as the same as it is and you'll still have every single other person who's running the football club right now? Probably the exact same operation. Nothing will change. Nothing will absolutely change at all. The only thing that might change is whenever they get a bit of heat or criticism, they always do something big or do something wow, and it suddenly calms everybody down. You sign a big player. Everybody was hyping up to go and get Harry Maguire because they weren't getting a centre-back at that time for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Right, we'll pay the extra 10 million. And it shut everybody up then for that whole summer.
Yep.
Shut everybody up at the end of it. And this is the problem with Manchester United. If you want to, like you say, you can do protests. These guys haven't listened for 18 years. They only made communication with Manchester United fans when you postponed one game at Liverpool. And you know what, right? It was over Zoom. It wasn't even in person.
Yeah.
You see club owners. So when Chelsea was up for sale, 5-6 of those prospective buyers went to go and speak to the Chelsea Supporters Trust. Do the Glazer family even know who our Supporters Trust liaison are? Probably don't even know who the person's called.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with our football club. You need to have a connection with the fans. And because these people, you can live in America. Todd Bowley's proved it enough times, has he not? He lives in America, resides there, still comes over for games, still comes and has a communication with the fans. I mean, you see me in Twitter spaces all the time. Joel and Avram, they probably don't even know how to use Twitter. Right. And the problem with us is we don't as a community, if you want to get the Glazer family out, you can say, dish your season tickets, dish whatever. Don't go to the merchandise in the store. Other people are just going to walk in behind you. And the price of football nowadays is only going up. And when the price of football goes up, the price of Manchester United as a football club will go up because it's the biggest one in the Premier League. Hence why now you have a controlling state, really, as Qatar, that want to try and own it. And you have Britain's richest man. They're really the only two people that, if we're being fair, can probably afford it in today's market. A lot of American businessmen don't want to buy something that's been a failure for years, both financially and as a football team. And as you say, this year at the point now, you still got no answer. And as soon as it's gone silent, nobody wants to hit. There's not a pin drop. But some people, like Ratcliffe's prepared to wait out. Sheikh Jassim, it seems, is prepared to wait out because I think if they were going to pull out, they'd have done it now. They've waited long enough, really, let's be fair. But at the end of the day, the Glazer family have never been fast decision makers, have they, with anything? Sacking a manager, signing a player, anything. So it doesn't surprise me that they're going to take this long, which is something that implicates them more so than anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Super chat here. Saeed Salam. I've been timed out on the chat because I said I like the Glazers. So what now? Your mods don't allow different opinions. Listen, it's one of them, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something you'd want to say in a title that we're talking about the Glazers, isn't it? So you can understand why they've timed you out there.
Saeed, can I just want to mention one thing, right? There's a big elephant in the room that no one's talking about. If you give up your ticket, right, or say you don't go, right, you do not go, you do not scan your ticket through the turnstile. This is how it works at Manchester United, right? If you do not scan your ticket, you get an email from the club. The club say your ticket was not used for this game. Why was it not used? It is in their terms and conditions that if you do not use your ticket, you cannot pass it on to a friend. You cannot do any of that. You have to send it back to the club. If you send it back to the club, they attach some hospitality on it and they resell it at like 7 times the price. So the Glazers make more money. So by us not being in our seats, the Glazers managed to sell it to someone for more money. So this is why it's a complete lack of understanding from people that don't have tickets week in, week out. So the football club, if you don't know how it works, then don't make an assumption. If we do not sit in our seats, someone will sit in our seats. Otherwise, we lose our ticket. And the people that sit in our seats will be paying 600-700% of what we do.
Yeah. And also they've moved the East Stand. I don't know if you guys know, but Andy, one of my mates, Andy, he's moved now because they've attached corporates next to us, which are paying triple.
Corporates, by the way. Corporates. It's like a cheap meal, 350 quid. Nonsense.
Listen, I just think for me, it's not I generally, guys, man, you can say give up your season ticket, but I want situations that are achievable. I'm not even kidding you now. It's not achievable. And maybe I don't want to say like if you've not seen it, because at the end of the day, people are not fortunate to have tickets, and that's just one of the things whether that's due to travel or whatnot. But I just need to guys just see it, man. Like today I was in Scotland, the amount of United shirts that were there, fair play, everyone's entitled to what they will do, but everyone's buying the new United shirts again. That's added to whatever and whatnot. So guys, it's not the thing for me is it comes down to the Glazers just being greedy. If they wanted to sell the football club tomorrow, they'd sell it, but they're not. Ultimately, it comes down to them and their greed and wanting more money for the football club, and that's where I've kind of accepted reality. You know, I generally have. I've accepted reality that you know what, they want more money until they get that money or whatever happens in that situation, and they come to an agreement. Then they're gonna stay, and that's the harsh reality. Business for them is business. Big Ben's big up to you says, do you think the Glazers want to go down the same path as the Kroenkes did with Arsenal the last 2 seasons? The hate from Arsenal have stopped. I don't think, to be honest with you, Arsenal and United are not like we're not together, man. I'll be real with you, man. Like Arsenal had a little bit of a reaction from the Super League. We had a reaction for the 18 years of mismanagement. Theirs was more from the Super League. For me, if I'm looking at it from an outside point of view, Arsenal, what toppled them off the kind of cliff was the Super League, and then it kind of calmed down then, and then they started to restructure their football club. For us, it's no, because at the end of the day, when Man United were winning, they were still Glazers out, so it don't work with that one. So that's the way I kind of look at it.
There's nothing the Glazers could ever turn Manchester United fans in their favour. There's absolutely nothing. I didn't fall for the Ronaldo Sancho Varane summer. I didn't fall for last summer, you know, throwing money here and everywhere to try and cover the backs. James absolutely right. You know, this whole talk about not going in or giving up your season ticket. I can tell you now, Dixon, be quiet. My dog's snoring his head off here. Be quiet. He's bored of the Glazers as well. Manchester United and the Glazers do not want fans like myself, James, and Saeed going to the stadium who go watch the football and don't spend a penny.
Yeah, definitely not.
Let me tell you, there's so many day trippers around me. The Glazers want 74,000 day trippers every single game that come.
They want that, by the way.
I've got two bags full. Go and get snacks. Go and get food. That's what they want every day because it's that American experience of going and it's a day out. You go and spend 300 quid. That's money to them. They don't want me going, who's a Manchester lad, been going since I was a kid, who goes, meets my friends outside, doesn't just goes to watch the football and leaves. They don't want that. And if we give up our tickets, that's what's going to happen. They're just gonna regurgitate. I guarantee the Glazers would love nothing more than to stop season tickets altogether. All you can do is buy a ticket a game because that way you don't pay £800 and you're there all the time. It's more money. It's more money.
It's more money. Yeah, it's more money.
Someone in the chat saying protest. You need to run on the pitch. If we run on the pitch, we're banned for life.
For life.
Then they've got the 73,000 that can keep coming and coming and coming. You need to think smart. And it's okay saying all this stuff. Protest. Don't go in. Do this. Do that. But what we need to remember is, for a club that's called Manchester United, we couldn't have a more divided fan base in the world. No one wants to go together and do the right thing for the club.
Reds don't like me, man. Reds don't like me. I've got to be on their side. Even James knows that. I've got to be on the side. You know what I mean? I've got to work together. They don't like me.
I hate Saeed, and I'm king of the top Reds. So yeah. We agree. We had a meeting. We don't like you.
That's what I'm saying. So I need to try and find a reason we can come to an agreement. So we have to all think of one solution. This comment here from Ganso, big up to you, goes, if you dislike the Glazers so much, whether the seat is filled should be irrelevant. Have the strength of character to live by your beliefs on morals. But again, you haven't listened to what we said, though. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Like, for me, this idea, like I said to you, if you want the situation of the Glazers all going, but you well and truly believe that not everyone's going to give their season ticket away, then we might as well just forget it. Like that idea is not realistic. We have to come to a realistic plan. The protest was that realistic plan, but it hasn't worked. We stopped the game. It hasn't worked. They found ways to obviously not listen to the fans and find ways to kind of almost calm it down by signings, by, I don't know, the maybe restructuring Matt Hargreaves coming in, John Myrtle coming in. Like, you know, they've tried to kind of mellow the fan base's kind of opinions, and then it almost quite quiet down. That's why I'm just trying to say to you, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think the protests work. I've said it for the last 2 or 3 protests. It hasn't worked.
Are the Glazers still here? So clearly they don't work. You know what I mean? They're still here.
The walkout for me, I've where for me the 1958. I don't know. Are they called the 1958?
Yeah.
I said to the 1958, and I put it to them, and I put it to the people around the 1958 year. I said, what is the point in going to the stadium 18 minutes in? I think for me, the message would be better if you left the stadium 18 minutes to go. And I thought for me, that would be a better statement to do empty out Old Trafford. But for some reason, I don't know, it got kind of looked down upon. I don't know what it was. I feel like for me, people don't want that kind of go ahead. They'd rather go in 18 minutes in. I don't see the purpose in that. You've paid your season ticket, but if you leave at 18 minutes to go, the impact of the stadium, I'm willing to do that. If it means every game we leave 18 minutes and everyone leaves their seat and it comes on the cameras, I'm willing to do that. But apparently, that what's more stronger is to go in at 18 minutes. And I'm like, that defeats the purpose. You've gone in.
You need to walk out. But you shouldn't walk out after 18 minutes. Not 18 minutes to go, 18 minutes into the game. Because that's longer with no people there. Mate, I fully agree. It makes more of an impact to see 50,000 people leave than it does to see 5,000 people walking. Do you know what I mean?
By the way, I don't know what's happened to the stream, by the way. Has everyone left the stream, or has something happened to the stream? I think it might have just cut out or something. So yeah, apologies if he's come in and there's been a glitch in the stream.
Right, no one in the comments, Saeed. No one giving you grief.
No one said anything.
No. I thought there was a glitch. I don't know.
No one slagged me off in about 10 minutes, so yeah, it must be broken.
No.
The Glazers are the top Reds are onto us, mate.
Yeah, they are.
Trying to keep us down.
Yeah, it cut out. It cut out, man. I don't know what happened, but yeah.
The 18-minute thing on the walking didn't really work. So we did try that after the last protest, actually. So after the last protest, we were under the Munich tunnel, and the guys at the front were basically like, right, your guys' job is to hold firm. Don't let anyone through the tunnel, so they can't get into the ground until 18 minutes, and then we'll let people in. So we were standing firm. We were keeping everyone outside, like literally, with those people trying to barge past us. We weren't letting them in. And then 18 minutes came, and we all walked in. But I'll be honest, I watched it on TV afterwards. I saw it. I barely saw anyone like filter into the ground. You've got to realise that even if 2,000 people come in late, when you're watching 2,000 of 75,000, you're talking about 3% of fans, and so it doesn't show on TV. So you need mass impact, and whether it is a mass walkout or a mass entrance, you need to do it en masse, and that is so hard to coordinate in a fan base like AA said that is so divided.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Tom, where does this go next, Tom? You know what I mean? Let's be honest, man. Where does this go next? Because obviously, is it apathy now? Is this the stage now? Apathy gets involved and people lose that spirit and that fight.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, whenever United do anything, and I mean anything, sign a player, anything, they drag it out that long, the fun gets left out of it. Like, for example, you've seen it many times where you chase a player. Like we said, for example, Jadon Sancho is the easiest one. You chased a player nearly for 18 months, 2 years. You chased him that long. When he actually came, the excitement went away with it. There wasn't really that hype anymore. It went away. And it's the same thing whenever you sack a manager, bring a new guy in, whatever. The hype dies away after a while. And the reason why is because they drag it out. The Glazer family have always dragged anything out that they'll ever do. And the difference this time is this impacts them. This impacts their bank balance and what they're going to recoup over the following years. And let me just tell a bit of a tale and a bit of a story for people that might not know this. For the Glazer family's other venture in the US with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have just had a new stadium. Do you think the Glazer family built that new stadium? No. They went to the Buccaneers fan advisory board and said, you as the fans will pay for the new stadium, or we'll take Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of Tampa Bay. Yeah. The Kroenke did it. Stan Kroenke did it with the LA Rams. He moved it and put it back into LA, built the new stadium there. Done. See you later. Just because the fans wouldn't pay for the stadium. If they could do that with Old Trafford, believe me, they would. And if they could get away with it, they probably would. But these people, in terms of how they operate, the US sort of law, market, sports is completely different to here. And you're seeing it with many club owners that are coming into the league now. They're realising how it works. Todd Bowley, really, is starting to get an understanding of how you separate British sports to American. And with the Premier League, as it is, where the Glazer family look at it from the commercial side of view, every single thing, subscriptions, prices, tickets, shirts, anything that you want to buy that is associated with football, the price is just going up. And as I said before, with Manchester United's valuation, now that they're starting to turn over a profit again, United's share price will rise. They'll probably get a bigger valuation on the club in the long term. But the problem is, if they actually had a sense of a business mind, if you built a new stadium, for example, you can probably get upwards of £10 billion if you wanted for this football club. Because the brand on its own is probably worth 4 or 5 easily. It just as a business, if Man United wasn't a football club and it was just a commercial business, it's worth 4 or 5 on its own easily. You add the football club part into it, well, that's where then you have the future for Manchester United. But the problem is, until the Glazer family actually have a plan in place as to what they want to do, and let's be honest, these minority investment groups, I don't even think that's even a solution right now, to bring in financing to build a new stadium themselves. Why build it yourself when you can partner with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and let him do it for you? Why? That wouldn't make sense.
And by the way, Sir Jim's willing to wait until it. This is what I mean.
Sir Jim's willing to wait till whenever. And you look at it from a different perspective. So Jim Ratcliffe's tried to buy about 3-4 football clubs in 2 years, and he's failed with all of them.
Exactly, failed with all of them.
He's failed with absolutely every single. Tried to buy a stake in Barcelona.
The one he's got right now. And it's
Chelsea.
can't even sort out the one he's got right now. The one he's got right now is failing as is.
Yeah,
so,
well, even if you look at it from Nice's perspective, I'm sure their supporters are outraged right now because I don't even know if they've signed a player or anything right now. Like, if this was Boot was on the other foot, and I wouldn't put it exactly past such as Ratcliffe. The problem that I think a lot of United fans have is they don't know what his plan is for the football club. He's not gave anything away. And we've had this tale before in 18 years ago. The Glazer family came in, leveraged debt onto the football club, which you now can't do because it's illegal. Like, the way that the legal system around the Premier League works now, it's far too late. It's far too late to save Manchester United. And any other football owner that wants to leverage debt onto football clubs, you can't do it now. It's illegal to do. But the problem, as we've said before with the Glazer family, is anything that they want to do with United now, if they built a new stadium, that's not going on themselves or anywhere else. That's going on Manchester United. And at the end of the day, as we always summarise it with the Glazer family, until they get top dollar for anything that they want, they're not going to leave. They own 2 sports clubs right now that they can get double-digit billions for. Manchester United and the Buccaneers. They're minted. They're set for generations, lives, whatever. They can buy anything in the world that they want, just as much as anybody else.
For me, it's got to the point now where... Sorry to cut you off there. For me, it's got to the point now where there has to be a rift among the Glazer family in terms of people want to sell and people don't want to sell.
The problem is, Saeed, because there's 6 of them, they all have a different they all have a different percentage of what they own of Manchester United. So then they have to work out what they're entitled to individually, just as much as the whole family.
There you go.
And you're always going to think about number 1, aren't you, yourself? But the problem is, anybody who buys United right now, they have to pay a premium as it is anyway. And anybody who really is trying to buy United, they probably are doing that right now, even just bidding. But it's still not enough. It's still not enough. And the problem with these guys is somebody could have come in here now and bid 6. But if you bid too urgently and you give them 6 now, give us another 500. Give us another billion. So long as you don't... you can never take these people's word for anything. With the Glazer family, until you have it, pen on paper, that's the agreed set fee. I would never take these people's words for anything. And as I've just said before with the story that I just said about the Buccaneers, if they could take Old Trafford and Manchester United and discontinue the 2 of them together, they probably would try and do it. If it meant that they could get a new stadium. If they could make every single one of you fans out there worldwide pay for a new stadium, trust me, they would. Because they've already proven that they did it. They've already done it. And at the end of the day, as I say, the price of football is only going up. So when you look at it from a Glazer family perspective, they're in for a windfall in the long term. Whether they get a windfall or not, that's another question. But right now, even these sort of quoted figures around £5.5 billion, in today's market, that's stupid money. That is absolutely stupid. Even if you're one of the mintedest people in the world, get £5 billion for a failing football club.
The biggest sports, transaction ever. Like
it will be. It will be a record.
It will be.
Even what Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim are bidding, the bids are world records. Let's not get it pointed. They're records.
But still, it isn't enough because apparently Jim Ratcliffe's got a better package for some reason, and that's what it is. I want to bring the super chat here. It says Violent says big up to you. He goes, Saeed is bigger than the Glazers. Premier League don't want to reflect conflict on broadcast, and they will form some rules to avoid that. Well, what do you think to that, James? That super chat there.
Bigger than Glazers, Premier League don't want to reflect conflict. They obviously have certain things that they can show or not, but I don't. The thing with conflict is you can't avoid it at some point. So I actually think the most successful thing that the fan base had done to try and get the Glazers out and had the biggest effect was actually getting the game against Liverpool called off. I think that was probably the biggest impact. It impacts TV, it impacts revenue. I don't think the club would have been happy about it at all. And they'd have probably got pushback from television companies and media companies and stuff. So that probably did ring, a bit true with the Glazers. I think that probably did have an impact. And if you're going to go down a violent route or that kind of stuff, or I forgot what the word he used was, but if you're going to go down that route, then maybe getting games called off is probably a more viable option than actual violence against any like family member or club member or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but then,
I
but then
don't really know which I don't
yeah.
really know which way I see it going, mate. I really, really don't. Like, I think obviously the Sir Jim's offer, the Sheikh Jassim's offer, and at the moment you've got to look at it. And if you're a probability guy, you've got to think Glazers has got to be Glazer staying's got to be more likely than both of those options at the moment.
Yeah, because then you get into the toxic situation of Ten Hag coming out to the press and saying, guys, stop protesting, and maybe we want to play the matches and whatnot, and then obviously the players want to play as well because they're footballers in the day, and they're going to think like us, man. Whether you like it or not, they're not Glazers out, they're footballers in the day, and
Well,
and,
look
and
at
they're
Wayne
here to do
Rooney.
the job.
Look at Wayne Rooney, Saeed. But Wayne Rooney's a club legend, without a doubt. Wayne Rooney is one of the greatest football players I've
Yeah,
ever seen. But if you
Wayne
watched
Rooney.
his interview the other day, it's absolutely mental. He's so disconnected with the football
Ready,
club. Like he can be
ready.
an unbelievable player. But if you read what he
He's
said,
mad.
yeah, it's absolutely mad. Like he seems completely disconnected with the fan base. The Glazers have done great things over their time here. It is time to move on, but they're underappreciated for what they've done. And you just read that, and you're like, you even watch Manchester United, you even follow. You're the same person that blamed them for lack of ambition at the club and lack of ambition in the transfer market when you tried to move to City earlier in your career. So he seems to have a bit of a short memory, but yeah, God knows what's going to happen, mate.
He's tickling the balls for the job in the future. That's what he's doing.
Maybe.
Yeah,
He's not. He's
100%.
listen. What always struck me as really, really odd. I don't care how we've been for the last 10 years. We're still the biggest club in the world. How when we're up for sale, and James has said it from day one. He stay consistent, and we all read that statement. They never actually said it was just a full sale. They were always looking for investment. James said it umpteen times, and it's true. Why was the only two?
They gave a broad statement, didn't they?
Yeah, but for Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, how could there be only two bidders? That were viable for this club. It rakes in money, and with the right owner, you would see us back on top of the tree again. I absolutely believe that. The fact that it was the one guy who decided or realized he couldn't afford it, and then decided to get in bed with the Glazers, and he said it from August. They're really nice people. As soon as someone said that, alarm bells were ringing in my head. Again, it harks back to what the Rooney thing. If he's saying something against the Glazers, and if he's a Manchester United fan, which I don't believe he is, I think it's all a ploy. He may be from up here, but he's not a United fan because he wouldn't say that. Because unless you've been living under the rock for 18 years, the United fans, apart from some weirdo in the chat before he got timed out, no one backs the Glazers. No one likes them. So straight away, alarm bells ring there with Sir Jim, and then it's all about him wanting to get into bed and keeping him around. And there's only Alfana. For me, there should have been more bids, that makes me believe that any potential bidders probably realise that it's not actually going to happen. They may have made some contact and said, "All right, what's happening with the Rain Group?" to realise it's probably nothing. There's nothing to go forward with because they're not going to go anywhere, and we're just stuck with them, aren't we? And the worst thing is, it wasn't even them who bought it. They've been handed it by the dead father.
Yeah.
And they don't even give a shit, do they? They're not bothered. They don't, like you say, they don't care. They don't want to interact. Tom said it. They've had no relationship with the fans. They just don't want to be seen as contactable or a presence within the club. And, the one that looks like a mole rat, I can't remember his name, Avram.
Yeah.
You come over to the two finals and then charges it all back to the club. Money that could have kept Alicia Russo.
Yeah.
Again, it's just taking
again, exactly. The Alicia Russo one.
At every chance.
The women's football team, the way it's been neglected and whatnot. I want to read the super chat here from Zoetek. Big up Zoetek. I want Qatari, but the asset of Man United is worth more than 6 billion. It's a one-off club like Real Madrid, Lakers, New York Yankees. They know the prestige of the club, but it's also the biggest. Again, we have to reiterate, it's the biggest franchise ever. Like they have a sense of responsibility as well, and they're businessmen. They don't want to be chalked off by the Glazers as well. So there's a length that they're going to go to, and that is giving them what they've given them. And the Glazers really shouldn't be turning their nose down at it. Shouldn't be is subjective because again. You know what I mean? They see it as You know, it's not what we want. We want more, and it comes down to greed, and that's where I've kind of come to a realization. It's the Glazers being greedy rather than actually following the process and actually being amicable and say, right, this is a lot of money now. Let's move the sale on. The fans don't like us. They're doing protests every week. You would get it, but they actually don't get it, and that's why they're the worst thing that's ever happened to my United Football Club. You know,
The people,
so you know, what I mean, in terms of recent history.
the people that have a lot of money, Saeed, they tend to be pretty smart, right? People that are very rich tend to be pretty smart with their money. They're not. A lot of them aren't rich by accident, right? And people fall into this. They fall into this trap of thinking just because someone's got a lot of money that they're able to pay whatever for something. And it's like you don't gain loads of money by paying over the value of something. You are frugal with your money and you pay what things are worth. Now, if I was to go on like Dragon's Den and raise investment for something and say, I've got this product, like X product, it's worth this. They're going to say, why is it worth that? And I'm going to have to show them the books. I can't just stand there and go, well, it's one of a kind. It could be worth this. It could do this. It could do this in the future. I have to cut them. I have to show them the books and say, right, well, at the moment it's turning over 700, just shy of £700 million a year. So it's doing quite well. And then they're like, well, what's the net profit? Well, actually, we're going more in debt each year. Actually, when we took over, there was zero debt on the club in 2004. We're now in 2023, and there's nearly £600 million of debt on the club. In that time, we paid £850 million in interest on the debt, and we've taken £150 million out in dividends. So actually, the club is £1.6 billion worse off than it was in 2004. But feel free to give me investment. I want £7 billion for it. Doesn't work like that. So he's not dumb. Sheikh Jassim is not dumb. He's not going to just write a blank check and say, there's £7 billion. And on the someone mentioned Alessia Russo before. I wanted to touch on that because that was really interesting.
Yeah.
If you look at Arsenal, right, Arsenal men's team finished second in the league. They've just gone and had a great transfer window. They've brought Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, and Timber, right? They've gone, they've pressed on, they've tried to do that. When we finished second in the WSL, we let arguably our two best players go in Honor and Alessia. And that's just the way we are ran as a football club. Men's team, women's team, junior team, whatever. We don't invest in the future of our squads. And listen, I'm probably the one person that doesn't relate Glazers to transfers. Transfers is not the reason I'm Glazer. It's out. It never has been. Like, us having a good window isn't going to make me Glazers in. Double A said it before. We could sign whoever. We signed Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho. Didn't make me Glazers in. We could win the Champions League next year. Doesn't make me Glazers in. The Glazers bought this club in what is now an illegal way. They leveraged debt onto a football club. Before they were here, zero debt. Now £600 million in debt. There is no way that the Manchester United football club that I knew growing up, which doesn't have football club on the badge anymore, by the way, but Manchester United football club that I loved growing up should be in debt in 2023. It's ludicrous, mate. Ludicrous.
I got a couple of super chat, absolutely spot on, mate. You know what I mean? Spoke true facts there, man. Masood says here, I don't think they would long this out if they weren't going to sell. The stock prices will plummet if they decide not to. This is make or break. I will come back to that super chat there as well. Big Ben says, I feel for the United supporters. I grew up United as a powerhouse in Europe. 18 years of shame. Get your club back, United supporters. Listen, man, we're trying. I can't lie to you. We're trying, but the thing is, though, man, it's fallen. Sometimes it falls, right in front of your eyes. It's one of them situations where if you don't, it's just not worked out for us in that sense. But this one here, I don't think they would long this out if they weren't going to sell. But I feel like for me, the feeling is now, though, that they are getting frustrated. And that's where it's coming down to where, I don't know, for them to fully leave, I don't know, man. I hope not. And that would be the worst thing ever to kind of happen to us, man. It's like the Qatar just left, because I feel like then Sir Jim has got no chance. And if he does have a chance, it means that the Glazers do stay, as minority shareholders, and then you never know when they leave. So, Qatar, he's got to stay, but then you never know. We could hear tomorrow that he could be like, you know what, I'm done. See you later. There's a thread here from Jacobs, Ben Jacobs, I think it is. He says here, understand that the Man United sale process has not been paused, even though it's true both Sheikh Jassim and Jim Ratcliffe feel somewhat in limbo. The frustration at the lack of communication, but neither group plan to pull out or have been told they are successful to the date. So again, he's obviously got his sources and whatnot, and he's obviously put that in that aspect. But the thing is, for me though, we've not heard anything for like what I'd say. When do you reckon we heard anything?
No, yeah, probably like you're saying, Saeed, weeks, really.
Yeah, weeks.
And
Yeah, yeah.
if we're being
Weeks upon
fair,
weeks.
the Sheikh Jassim bid, the fifth bid went in what 5-6 weeks ago. And if we're being fair,
when did it go through?
we've not even heard.
I know.
We've not even actually heard anything since then. It's literally caused a shockwave of radio silence. Nothing. And the problem is, if we're being fair about it, I actually like how Sheikh Jassim's conducted himself and his sort of group. They haven't used tabloids or news articles to push themselves. Ratcliffe's been on with the Times and done articles with them through this process, even under NDA agreements. You've had it with the Sun. And you can say, well, he's a British guy and he'll know people in the media and stuff. Qatar know people in the media. Nations and nations have media connections. They have deals, big £1 billion deals enrichment, gas, oil, whatever. They have, actual political responsibility there. But as you said, Saeed, anyway, with the sort of time scale of it, even if the Glazer family tomorrow said, we're going with Sajim, we're going with Sheikh Jassim's offer, you've got Premier League who you need to satisfy, and you need them to investigate the sort of funds and do fit and proper owners tests on individuals and groups. You need to know if Sheikh Jassim's linked to the state, or you need to know for Sir Jim Ratcliffe what his plans to do with Nice because of multi-club ownership's banned by UEFA as we speak right now, but they're looking at changing the laws around it. There's so many different factors, and you've not even got a decision right now from what the Glazer family actually want to do. And if we're being honest, when we criticise the Glazer family for that they aren't smart, they have played the longest game of poker. Honestly, put it in the Guinness World Record. They have played the longest game of poker where they've gone 8 months without actually telling anybody or showing anybody any hint
June 7th.
as to what they're actually planning to do. June 7th.
Yeah.
Well,
June
you look
7th. So over a month ago.
Over a month
is
ago.
when that bid went through. That bid was over a month ago.
And you've heard nothing, but they still want more. But the only thing you can look at it from that perspective is, if they want more, Ratcliffe surely is just a spare part. But I just don't. Yeah. I've never understood the way the Glazer family have conducted the whole process, because if Sheikh Jassim's the guy that you want, and I think, let's be clear, if he is linked to the state, they have access to hundreds of billions of pounds. If they want to buy United, they can buy it tomorrow. Cash payment, one wired transaction done. See you later. But the thing is, why overpay on something? Because now, if you overpay for Manchester United, anything that him as an individual or that state wants to do, they'll be forced to overpay on anything, whether it's a share in a company, whether it's a business, a political deal. The implications that will have for either him as an individual or the country that he comes from far outweighs just buying Manchester United. And the thing that I know anyway with Ratcliffe is, whenever he's bought anything, he always goes for a controlling stake. Then he delists it from whatever it's actually worth. So then he has the full control of the club. So nobody can ever go against him or try and buy shares from publicly listed companies or anything like that. Anything that he ever does, he does it privately. And if you think about it from the way that he runs Ineos, he has the majority stakeholder in that, and the two people who have the other shares are his best mates, who invest in literally anything that he wants, and they work as a trio. Anything. And like I say, the way that they've built Ineos up, petrochemical, sport, so forth, the way that they operate always has been controlling stake. You look at it, for example, from when they tried to buy a stake in Barcelona, 50%. Manchester United right now has got an option to try and buy 50%.
Yeah.
Chelsea was a distressed asset that needed to be sold. So that was win-win for him if he got it, really, because it was on the reduced value for a Premier League football club. That's why you had so many people there. But even in the same case with the Glazer family, let's be honest, they were expecting bidders from everywhere. They probably expected someone coming from China. I'm sure they was expecting a private bid from Saudi Arabia. Maybe a Gulf state might have come out of the woodwork like we've seen with Qatar. And I think they're very shocked that they haven't had loads of Americans that have come in for this. Like, gone together as they normally do in big consortiums, and then they get a net worth as a whole group of like £20 billion or whatever. But as we said, as we always agree upon, when Manchester United ever is to be sold, it will be on the Glazers' terms. And they were never going to walk out the front.
Exactly.
They were never going to walk out the front door, making everybody happy. They was always going to walk out the door and do what they want to do. And if that means that they have to sit there and wait until they get big money for it, then they'll do that. But you can't get any more money for something that you've not willing to invest for 18 years. You can't expect to get top dollar for something that you're not even prepared to put your own money into. Like, it's as simple as that. And as I can't remember who it was anyway. I think it was AA that said it about with Mike Ashley. The way that he run that, he run that from his own commercial pocket. Sports Direct sponsored the stadium, anything. Sports Direct mugs, t-shirts, anything. The Glazer family are pretty much in the same way, similar. They run it from the business perspective more than the football club. But we don't operate as a football club. And until we do, why do you expect to see Manchester United be successful on the football field?
Yeah,
there's nothing going to be different.
No, you're right. Yeah. No, absolutely, you're right, man. I think that's the kind of the reality. Obviously says I doubt the Glazers stay. These M&A transactions do take time. They have crossed a bridge and burnt it. Fans will accept it, nothing but a sale. Listen, I hope you're right. I hope you are right. I just want to quickly move on to the game, a little bit on the game in general, the squad. What did you make of it, guys? You enjoyed it? James, did you enjoy the game today?
Yeah, I thought it was really good, mate. I never buy too much into pre-season, to be honest, because obviously it's fitness, really, isn't it? You play a completely different 11 in the first half than you do in the second half. Apparently, our first 11 seems to play in the first half, but we seem to be getting the results in the second half. I think a lot of that we were doing a space before, and I think Beth made a good point. She said when we play Hugo up front and we have a focal point, then we seem to play a lot better rather than playing Sancho as a false nine. And almost you'd be better off seeing Hugo play with the first team in the first half, and then you might see people like Mount playing a little bit better because they've got someone to bounce off, and Ahmad and stuff like that. But positives, I think Kobe was good again. I think Ahmad was very good. I think Martinez was very good. I thought Dan Gore was excellent. Very happy to see Donny get his goal. It doesn't change my opinion on the future of Donny van der Beek. I still think he should go. I think it's best for his career, but he had a horrendous injury. And you could see how much that goal meant to him. He let out a scream of elation when he scored. So
I heard it, man. We heard it right in front of him, man. You could hear the scream, man.
Oh, he did. He screamed like mad. And fair play to him. Like, it means a lot. He's worked hard to come back from his injury. It was a pretty horrendous injury, to be fair. And he deserves to have a good career. Listen, like the Donny that was at Ajax, like 2019, 2020, whenever it was a superb footballer. We just didn't get that Donny here. That's nothing to be like go mad about or crazy about. He's still got some value in the market, and if he finds somewhere where he can play first team football, then great. But realistically, he's way down the pecking order at Manchester United, and one pre-season game doesn't change that. Otherwise, we'd still be keeping hold of Jesse Lingard and Andreas Pereira and playing them week in, week out.
Yeah. Tiang Yang says with Chelsea, Roman put some clauses in there to protect the club. So Jim came in with a late bid and he was turned down. Absolutely. And he also came in without, when the situation wasn't even solved yet, in terms of bidding process. So for me, nah. He's a false guy, man. But in terms of, listen, I thought for me, Dan Gore was good. Kovar was good. And it's a bit interesting. We are not, he's not in the squad for the US tour, which could mean that he might be loaned out, which I think is a bit bizarre. But like I said, I don't know what they were doing. Maybe Sparta Prague are looking to bring him in. But this is the squad here. Nathan Bishop, Tom Heaton, Dean Henderson. Surprised he's not stayed back. I thought he would have stayed back and found a solution with his club. Radek Vitek, Diego Dallo, Alvaro Fernandez, Victor Lindelof. Harry Maguire is in there. Lissandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Rafael Varane, Aaron Bissaka, Brandon Williams, Ahmad, Anthony, Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno, Dango, Hannibal, Colby Mino, Scott McTominay, Mason Mount, Facundo Palestri's in there, Jadon Sancho, Donny van der Beek, the forwards, Elanga, Omari Thorson, Garnacho, Anthony Martial, and Marcus Rashford. No Imran, he's not in there. Who's the one that you were saying before, James, up front? Hugo, he's not there.
Hugo not in there, no.
And also, Fred isn't in there. But people are saying that Fred is sorting out something with his, I don't know, apparently. Yeah, so I don't really buy into that. I think he is finding out a solution with his club.
I mean, Saeed, when you think about it, when we play Wrexham, I think we're playing like the under-21s in that game.
Yeah,
so
we're not
players like Hugel and stuff like that. Because I think 24 hours later we play Real Madrid, so that'll probably be more a perspective for first team. I don't know how old Kovar is. I think he's 22, 23. Yeah, so I think he
I think he's younger than that, isn't he?
I think he's 23.
I think he is a bit older because he's had a couple of loans.
I thought he was a bit.
A lot of the players that might miss out in the first team squad, like maybe Will Fishers and stuff like that, will at least go to the US and play a game on a tour, but it'll probably be against Wrexham. That's the only difference. But the rest of them, like you said, such as Dan Gore and Hannibal and Kobe Mino and all these other players, now's your chance, really, lads. Let's be honest, because some of these players, like for example Hannibal, you were shipped off last summer. Ahmad, you were shipped off last summer. Show the manager something different that you couldn't show him in Bangkok, in Australia. Show him something different. Yeah. Fight for your place. And if we're being honest, Fred's probably going to leave. So there's one midfield spot that Kobe Mino, Dango, as you said before, with Hannibal. There you go, lads. There's a midfield spot for you three to fight it out for if you want one. It might be on the bench. It might not be. But there's a spot for you. But the worrying thing for me when you said about that with the squad, that front line looks toothless.
Yeah, man.
It looks absolutely. It looks toothless. When you look at any squad, and I'm not irrelevant of Manchester City because they can field two different front lines. Liverpool, Chelsea, even they have three different front threes that they can play. If we're being really honest, we only have one, and it's still not even a good one because we don't have a fit number 9. To play at Manchester United.
That was alarming today, man. You know what? I'm not going to give Sancho any slack, man, because today I thought he did well, you know. Like Sancho, for me, he played in, I think, 2 key passes in that game. One for Antony that he should have scored. I think one for Mason Mount, where he kind of did badly. I'm not gonna hold, but for me, you know what, man, Lacazette, listen, he's not a great striker, but even the way they play through Lacazette and the kind of link up play, and he had a few situations where they caught us in behind. I just thought to myself, like, we need a striker, we need 2 strikers, like generally. But the situation is that we can't do 2. 3. Well, there you go. 3.
I think we need
the great Man United teams have always had 2, 3 strikers, though. That's the thing.
We've got none.
You look at 99. York, Cole, Solskjaer. You had so many different players that can play the role. But the problem, like you said, the problem with us is when you look at how modern day football works. You have your main number 9, like City, for example. Perfect example. You bring in Haaland, bring in an understudy of Alvarez. They're set for 10 years if they want to be for number 9s. They don't need to get one. We, on the other hand, don't have one because some people still contest that Martial isn't a number 9. Some people still contest that. Whether he is or isn't, another question. But even in saying that with us, we ain't a serious football club as it is anyway, because the way I would look at the perspective is if you get someone like a Højlund, right? Yeah, you're taking a gamble on a 20-year-old that scored, I think, 24 goals, professional goals. You're taking a punt on somebody like that at Man United for a full season. The only gamble that I can see United doing is if they get somebody like Højlund and then gamble Harry Kane doesn't go to Bayern and maybe do an agreement in January for him to come next summer for free if he doesn't go. But we're moving in the mud, guys. Let's be honest. We move like slugs. Yep. And people say that Man United have these brilliant scouts. We never find these players. That's the problem with us. Or at least we don't operate as a football club, as I said before, and actually trust the scouts and buy the players that we need. But
I think the Højlund situation should get wrapped up. It's not. It shouldn't be a complicated deal, man. I hope so. I hope so. It shouldn't be a complicated deal. United should get it for the region of 50 to 60 million in a region of that one. But like I said, I've just got I've got very, very skeptical as to how we can get a lot of goals out of it, because I'm just looking at Antony. Is he going to score enough goals? Sancho, Rashford will. Garnacho will off the bench. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Højlund.
They all need to chip in. They all need to chip in.
That's the difference. We should have been 3-0 up. We should have been 3-0 up in the first 15, 20 minutes, and we didn't. Because again, we don't have no clinical strikers, and that's where you need a clinical striker. Obviously, things might change. Bruno might chip in, Mount might chip in, but you need an out and out number 9. You know what I mean, to kind of help you. You know what I mean, and
I think we need to come to terms with the fact that Marcus Rashford's going to be our number 9 this season. I think it's geared up there. Mate, it's Ten Hag likes him. Ten Hag absolutely loves him. He's played him there in the new camp against. He dropped Weghorst to 10. He's come out saying things about him and working with Benny McCarthy on finishing. We've seen it in the FA Cup final. I genuinely do think he will become. And then you're looking at, if we get Amrabat and we've got Mount who can play on the left, we've got Sancho, we've got Anthony, and then Højlund's the backup to Rashford. That's sadly what I think is going to happen. And Martial for me is done. I don't even want to talk about him anymore. I don't. He's not even worth wasting your breath on because he can't stay fit. He can't even contribute to anything. We all saw him come back at the end of last season, thinking finally we've got someone that can actually get that absolute lanky tree out of the team in Weghorst. And I watched him at Old Trafford, and he was scared to run. I don't know if you guys saw it. He didn't want to break his stride and really run because he knew his body was gonna let him down. And it's not all his fault. He was overplayed by Ole whilst injured, and that's happened to it happened to Rashford as well for a period. But man, I mean, for Manchester United to have no strikers in pre-season, literally nothing at all, and a young kid and doing well and scoring in Hugo, you can only point one way, can't you? And it's the absolute fact that we're let down by these owners and mismanaged in every aspect, in every corner of this club, besides the first team manager. It's substandard and it's inadequate in every single way. And we've all had to learn to come to terms with it and just accept the shit that rolls down that hill onto the pitch all the time. And I worry for us next season. I really do worry for us next season because I think Liverpool will come back. Chelsea will.
Hey, don't tell James that. He'll dispute that. We're gonna get into a whole other argument. James, try not bite you
can't expect them two teams to have a season like they did last season.
No, I can't. But they've not fixed the major two problems in their team yet. But if they do, they will have a better season.
I just think they're going to be in the mix, and I think we've not, like you said, James. The women's team finished second. They've done nothing to progress them forward. For me, we've done nothing to progress us forward. Mason Mount isn't the answer for me to do anything. He's just a good player that's come in that he's just a better version of Eriksen. He's not a world beater. He's not someone that makes me sit up and go, wow, we've got Mason Mount in the team. You should have done that with a number 9. And that's what we need the most. And the fact we've neglected that area so bad. It's almost like the DM situation, how we left the DM situation for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And now it's always one hole. So is one hole. So is one hole that needs filling. Then going like that, Maybe Harry Kane just needs to do what Mitrovic is doing now and just go
on strike. Man Saeed going on strike, 52 million they valued him at. And he's like, no, see you later, I'm not playing.
Yeah, man. Harry Kane, man, say to the club, you're worth around 60, and you know what I mean, and just say you're not playing again, and then you'll force them to sell you, man. You know what I mean? Do that, man. Harry Kane, have you got it in you? Nah, you don't, mate. You're absolutely softy, man. That's what you are, mate. Softy, man. So I think for me, I also think a midfielder for me is so vital as well, man. Today, I felt like Colby Mino had to do a lot on his own, man. Dango did do well, but he's 18, so again, you can't rely on him to do a lot for you. Who else came on? Like Fred came on, but again, Fred might be sold as well. Like Donny, again, I'm not expecting a lot. Yeah, Fred had a good game. Yeah. McTominay, is he injured or what? Like, what's going on with McTominay?
I don't think he's. I think he's got some
training. He came back this week.
Yeah, he's in training. We know that, but a couple of the players haven't been in the first 2 preliminary sort of games before you start main pre-season. Over in the you haven't seen with other players, but I guess other players need time to develop or whatever. And you don't necessarily. I mean, with how Man United run the medical department, you never know what's wrong with any player. If we're being honest, that's you used to hear it with Paul Pogba. He's going to be back 1 week. Next thing, he's out 6 weeks. But just to, I guess, double up on one of the points that you guys made was when you fill one hole like we have done with the DM, another hole always pops up, and we fail to fill it. And even as what we're doing with Hoyland, even buying in a young striker like that, I like it because it's something that we've not done for years. Is bringing someone young to be developed for that position. We haven't done it.
Spot on.
And and I tell you now, we'll be sat here in maybe a year's time, and we'll be saying the same thing about Casemiro. We need somebody who can learn the game from him and take over.
Yeah.
But will we do that? Probably not. No, we do. I mean, anybody on here, feel free to.
Man City have bought Gvardiol for no reason. Yeah. Man City have bought Gvardiol for no reason. Like, generally, guys, I don't care what anybody says here. Man City do not need Gvardiol, mate. If they just want a treble and their defense is still good, they've still got about 4 or 5 in there that are quality. And they've just said, you know what? We're just going to buy Gvardiol because you know why? We always want to be one step ahead. We always want to do things right.
Who used to do that?
We used to do that.
Manchester United used to do that.
There you go.
They're doing what we used to do, and we just fail to act like a big club because we can't. Because again, it comes back to the same reasons it always does. The Glazers just don't give a shit, and they're just constantly allowing this club to sink further and further. And but like someone would say, we said it on Unfiltered, we've become the banter club, haven't we? That's pretty much what we are. And you can see from the reaction in the chat how happy that rival fans are that this news has come out. And will we ever be set free? I don't think so. But
it's bad news.
All we could do as fans is hold on to a little bit of hope in it. And this manager brought us that last season. Brought us that this season.
Yeah. But you can only do it for so long, and then what happens is what happens all the time is that the manager gets the brunt of it. When in reality, it's the Glazers, you know what I mean, and them guys, because he can't do his job fully because he's having to work with hands tied behind his back, and that's where it's coming down to, man. So listen, Johnny Evans today, man, he did well, man, today, man. That tackle there today, I don't know if you see that tackle, man, that crunching tackle. Listen, man, better than what Maguire's been doing, you know what I mean? So listen, we never know. But for me, Evans is always a short-term deal. I think it'll be till August. If we sign him, then it shows you what's going on with the football club, and the sentiment is getting involved. Really and truly, we shouldn't be re-signing. But who am I? That's my own opinion. Everybody will say it's the traditions of the football club to look after your own and whatnot. I personally think for me, you know what I mean, if you come on, man, really? Would any other club do it? You know what I mean? That's just trying to get places. But the manager is looking out for him in terms of experience, and obviously he can just get his fitness back up, and then hopefully he moves on to another club. So
I mean, even if we get him on a deal, even if you get Johnny Evans, say, on a deal, who's to say that a club might not just come in for him anyway, and you can make a little bit of dough on the side? Like, if you look at it from, say, the Onana thing, 12 months ago, United could have got him for free. Inter are now getting 50 million euros for a player that they got free 12 months ago.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened there. Have I just put Nuruddin on top of... Oh, there it is. I was thinking, I put Nuruddin on top of Tom, and I was like, what's going on there? They can't be cloned into one. But Nuruddin, you've come towards the end of the stream. Have you got anything to say that you want to talk about quickly?
Yeah, apologies. I just saw the link right now. Unfortunately, I've been.
Are you not well, man? What's up with you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I've just got a bit of sinus.
Okay.
I'm all right. I've been trying to sort out StreamYard. I'm having problems with my StreamYard. I wanted to do a show at 10:30, but I couldn't get it done.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. StreamYard, man. They don't want to talk about the Glazers. That's why. It's the Glazers intercepting you, man. That's what they're doing to you, man.
Neil Ashton's about to watch out. But yeah, like I said, I told everybody the Glazers were playing games from day one, and nothing has ever changed my mind. So it is what it is. The Glazers are always going to play games. I've never trusted. I've got a degree. I've got a PhD in Glazer studies. So I know who they are. And shame on everybody who was clickbaiting the fans. Shame on them. Because
Rio, are you watching? Are you hearing that, Rio?
No, listen, Rio doesn't support Manchester United. He uses Manchester United too. I respect him as a legend and what he did for the club. He uses it. He uses the because for his brand. Majority of some of these ex-players are not fans of Manchester United. If they were, they would have come out long time ago. And a lot of these pundits who also blag that they support Manchester United for their own profiles, they're not Manchester United fans because they would have stood against the Glazers a long time ago. All of them, not too many fraudsters. So for me, the fight continues. Those of us who are militant still in terms of the way we want them out, you see that in the stadium, some people are not asked, and no other thing ever taught me the truth. Is that day when after we came back from lockdown, the day that we came back from lockdown, the first ever official game at Old Trafford. I remember, if you remember, we played Brentford. I think it was at Brentford or Fulham. We were playing somebody, and you saw me outside Old Trafford handing out.
Fulham away. Cavani chipped a player. Yeah.
It was Fulham at home. Yeah. So basically, I genuinely was handing out and Glazers out placards. I went all around the stadium, and I was doing it from early. Every third fan or fourth fan was taking a placard off me. So there are a lot of fans who just not asked for them. Just
well, this is where my point was, Nuruddin. Because there's a lot of people who are saying to me, give up your season ticket, give up your ticket. And I said, for me, it's got to the point now where that's not a realistic expectation. It's not going to happen. I've seen it with my own eyes. I just think it's not going to be possible to do that. I even disagree with you, Nuruddin. And I think for me, protests are not working anymore. I think for me, the suitable decision would be you leave the stadium at a certain time, whether it's the 70th minute, 75th minute, and then everyone leaves and you have 20, 30,000 seats left. But like I said, it's not gone the way I've wanted it, and people are going in the stadium 18 minutes late. And I think for me, that doesn't really work. But like I said, I don't know, man. It's one of them. We just have to just.
Can I just explain what a protest is? So the protest, it's not about winning a campaign against anybody.
It's a voice. It's a voice.
Yeah. So protest is about being around like-minded people who feel as passionately as you do to say not in my name. That's what a protest is. So for me, I don't go to protests thinking that this is going to end the Glazers' reign. One thing I know that. Listen,
but the fans are saying then, what's the point then? That's what the fans are saying in general. What's the point of protesting when nothing's going to happen? That's what they're trying to say.
A proper civil disobedience where people get on the pitch and people disturb the game. We already saw that. That shit the Glazers up. So for me, the ball is in the court of Manchester United fans and those who are militant enough to be able to do something about this. But we will see. The fight continues. For me, I was always calm, composed. The fight continues, and I never bought into any muppets. Like I said, is all the clickbaiters 0. Nuruddin, Mr. Structure, 10.
1.
I'm winning 10-0.
10, okay. 10-0, man. That's a big scoreline there, man. You know what I mean? Give them a bit of a chance, man. Let them get a couple of goals in there, man.
No, there's no chance. Yeah, I'm undefeated. I've got the cheat codes on all of FIFA. I'm undefeated. So it is what it is. Like I said, it pains me.
Vindicated.
Listen, for me, basically, I told those who want to listen to me, I told them not to get up in emotional about this. And I said to look after their mental health.
I've also said that to you as well in terms of, it's not going to happen, in terms of this season. I kind of gave up in that aspect as well. So
no, 100%, 100%, and I 100% agree with you, Saeed. Like we're both looking at each other, going, "What's the point of doing videos about non-story bullshit?"
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it is what it is. The fight continues, and it's up to the fans now. Those who care enough to be militant. I don't blame the pensioners. They've done their fight.
There's a lot of them now, man. There's a lot of them in Old Trafford.
But they need to take it easy. But it's up to the other fans who are willing to be able to risk things. Because one thing is that power concedes nothing without a demand. But big up to everyone.
And that's probably the best way to wrap it up, I'm not gonna lie to you, Nuruddin. You've come in, you've given us a bit of positivity, bit of hope, and that's what it's about, man. So I'm gonna leave the podcast on that note, Nuruddin. It's been a pleasure. Very, very good cameo from you there. We keep fighting, people. Keep the faith. And you know what, man? We'll never die. United will never die, man. The saying of Man United. We keep the red flag flying high, man. But guys, please do like the video. There's still nearly 1,000 people in here. James, it's been a pleasure, man. Big up to you, man, for coming on late stream. But we needed you to give you that sense of, what I mean. You're the wise man in here. So what are you saying?
No, I think Nuruddin's the wise man in here now. I'm just in here to be positive about an eternally negative situation, apparently. But yeah, if anyone wants to follow James Dixon PT on Instagram, James Dixon _PT on Twitter, football, fitness content, all that good stuff. Hit a like on the video for Saeed. It's like midnight and we're all still here trying to entertain you lot. So hit a like, please.
Yeah, man. People, hit a like button, man. That's the least we could do, man. Double A, appreciate you coming on, man. I'll let you and your dog go to bed in peace.
Hey mate, he's already gone him. He's miles gone. Look at me now. Big up Saeed. I appreciate you having me on as always. Big up James. Big up Nuruddin. It's been a while, brother, and Tom as well. It's been interesting. Nice to just listen to everyone's concerns, and like you say, mate, we have to just keep on fighting, keep on flying the flag, because eventually one day Manchester United will be back in the hands of us, and that's what all that matters. And we can't let these leeches and these parasites drag our name down. But listen, if you want a bit of positivity and a bit of football kits, you can see them two there. Go over to Talking Kit and get involved, become a kit head, and yeah, that's what I do on my channel. But follow all these guys and like the video, subscribe, share with Saeed, because honestly he's one of the best, and he gives everyone a chance to speak and a chance to showcase themselves. And yeah, man, we keep going. That's all we can do as fans. And until something comes together where we can fully get these Glazers out, I will be supporting my football team, because I love Manchester United and I always will. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, apologies, but we are wrapping up the show. Please do rewatch it if you can. It's a good stream, so you know what I mean, you won't regret it. Tom, appreciate you coming on as usual, mate.
Yeah. Like I said, thanks for having me on as always. Anyway, and yeah, big up to everybody, James, Double A, Nuruddin for coming as well, and yeah, anybody who's in the chat or watching, like Brian, you've just dropped in now. Pop a like on the video, pal. Subscribe, everything, people, and yeah, grow Saeed's community as always, and yeah, big up to everybody.
Yeah,
big up
absolutely,
to
man.
you. Owe me that curry, Tom. 3-course meal.
Yeah, yeah, 3-course meal, man.
Nuruddin, we're still on time watch, mate. We're still on time watch.
The eternity.
As Marcus Rashford would say, believe. We can believe.
Trust the process. Trust the process, man.
No, Saeed, don't curse them words with our football club.
Well, listen, I don't know, man. Exactly. You can't trust this process because it's not even a sale. It's not even I don't know what it is, man. It's an absolute shambles, mate. It's not a process, man. It's just I don't know what it is.
Shambles FC. Here we go. Here we go. It is, mate. Shambles FC. Listen, big up to everybody. Listen, we're here at midnight. The least you can do is smash a effing like on the video. Stop being glazer. Stop being glazer about the likes, man. Make sure you smash that like. It's almost like Manchester United get into the Champions League. The likes go like Glazers in the second year of when they were in the Champions League. Don't want to spend money, mate. Smash that like. Smash that like. A big up to everybody. Love and light. Listen, the fight continues, and we never die in it. That's the greatest thing about Manchester United. This club has been through some of the most tumultuous, more horrific things than the Glazers. And we will bounce and we will fight. We will continue to fight, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you follow United Real Therapy. You'll be live in 2 days, I think your thingy says. So make sure you tune in and look out for Nuruddin's streams, man. Get into 10K, people, man. But yeah, people, I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. with James Redmond. I'll see you then, man, people. We're out, people. Take care. Glazers out. Take care.